Bruchim Abayim, Willkommen, and welcome to Europe Days 2022. I'm really happy to see all of you here, and for those joining us live, welcome as well. I'd like to thank my wonderful team for making this happen. Thank you to our business partners. Thank you to our sponsors. Come on, some show of hands here. Thank you. Good. Morning exercise. And thank you to over 50 speakers who agreed to share from their valuable time and be with us in this conference. Out of these speakers, we have 20 people who flew especially into Tel Aviv to be with us in person. So, where's the show of hands? Welcome to Tel Aviv, everyone. Great. Now, agenda-wise, we had to do some optimizations because we had some last-second unexpected COVID and other issues. So, in case the person on stage is not the person on the agenda, bear with us. We did the best to optimize. On the positive side, the negative side, the weather, European, strudel, European, pretzels, beer. So, the setting is here. Now, my personal journey, business journey into Europe started when I was looking for the right thing in the wrong place. I was roaming the streets of New York in search for a good cappuccino. Needless to say, I did not find it, but I took this lesson that I learned and deployed it in the next startup I did, because I remembered that I've been to Rome, I had great cappuccino every corner, so why not stay close between my foodie things and my business? So the next startup I built was focused on Europe, and I've never looked back since then. But enough about me, and let's talk about you. You're here because there's a huge opportunity right around our corner that both sides, the European and the Israeli side, oversee. And if we look at this, I would say, opportunity, we can look at it at two dimensions. One is the win-win creation of partnerships between market and technology/innovation. That's one dimension. The other dimension that we're looking at is a few sectors that are being hotter and hotter by the second, and they're basically happening more in Europe than anywhere else. So let's look at the Europe side and the market side. We have amazing companies. We have brand leaders. They know how to manufacture. They know how to distribute and market globally. The brands are very strong, but they're under tremendous competitive edge of how to sustain competitiveness. Why are they under pressure? Because China and the US are entering Europe very strong, and this is something we discussed in last Europe Days. But adding to that, let's look at the black swan that COVID has created with opportunities in e-health, in logistics, in cybersecurity. Just last year, Schwarz Gruppe, which is one of the biggest retailers in Germany, has acquired XM Cyber for over $700 million, okay? I believe this is an opportunity, right? Now, let's continue. This is, I would say, the COVID baseline, but things have moved on since then as well. We have the unfortunate invasion of Russia into the Ukraine, which started a dialogue on topics like energy, like food, where is our wheat going to come from, okay? So we're going into food tech, we're going into energy issues, and adding to that is a topic that Europe has been pioneering since a few years, which is called environment. How can we keep the climate as it was and not as it's going to be? So this brings, again, discussions beyond CO2 neutrality or negativity, but we really have to think how we can survive summers like California and Australia had with 50 degrees just recently. This is not something that a plant can survive. This is not something that livestock can survive. And it's definitely not something that we as human beings can survive. So what does it mean? We need to rethink food. So food tech is going up in the roof, just barely scratching the potential. Energy, we need alternative energy sources. We need to start thinking about what do we do with us, the human being. Is it genetic modification? Could it be less consumption? And so on and so forth. So these are all topics we will touch throughout the day. And now let's look at the other side of the equation, the Israeli startups. Innovative, ability to turn new technologies and validate them into market, but they lack a good partner to take them globally. So, if we put these sides together, we create an equation of 1 + 1 = 3, okay? And this is up for you guys to explore by being here. We have set up the platform. It's yours now. You're all here. So meet, talk, discuss, and much success and good luck in building our new joint future. Thank you, everyone. Now, one little or not so little thing, we have a surprise visit from the state of NRW. NRW, for those of you who don't know, is North Rhine-Westphalia, which is a German state. Yes, Germany has states. Actually, it has 16 states. So we have a surprise delegation, and we have with us Mark, who is the Secretary General for International Affairs. And Mark, would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you very much, Gilly. What a lovely day. I think it's the coldest Purim since supposedly 112 years. Our minister president, who should have been standing here, was tested positive on COVID yesterday, so he had to stay in Jerusalem. Worse than that, I'm his replacement. And to top all of that, I'm wearing a tie at a startup event. So I warmly welcome you on behalf of the state of North Rhine-Westphalia, which is, well, it's the industrial heartbeat of Europe, I would say. At least it's the industrial heartland of Germany, home to more than 100,000 well-established companies. Many of them had been startups more than 100 years ago. Now they are still family-run and often world-mark leaders in their segments. So they combine the entrepreneurial spirit and the courage of founders, but at the same time, they have the long-term orientation and the stability of well-established companies. And here in Young Israel, we have this enormous driving force of innovation, and combining the two, the industrial heartland, if you like, and this innovative spirit sounds for me like a marriage in heaven. And that's why we are so glad to be here. I'm very glad that Felix Neugard is here, who is running our NRW Global Business operation. He is accompanied by Sharon Missouri, who is our scout for startups based here in Tel Aviv. And we are really relying on that combination of innovation and long-term orientation of companies. And that's why we established an office in Tel Aviv 2 years ago. Well, it was in March 2020, so then came COVID, and we all had to cope with the fact how to run universities, how to run administrations, how to run companies. And we had to find new ways, and that's why we have established and will launch today the platform NRW Global Connect, which really tries to connect the startup scene here in Israel with the established industries and business in North Rhine-Westphalia, and I really would like to invite you to explore this as well. But first, of course, enjoy this conference. I have to applaud Gilly. He is a hero of matchmaking, and I think this is really an important event. I'm glad that the city of Cologne is represented here. Gil Baxpeler, who is the representative of the city, and also, well, he knows Israel very well and the startup scene as well. So I'm glad that North Rhine-Westphalia is present here, and I wish you a great conference, great exchanges, and, well, thank you for having me.